My session today, I'm going to try and keep it as short as possible to not lose any attention, but about 10 to 15 minutes here. I'm going over basic setup and installation of studio recording interfaces. Primarily PreSonus's audio box lineup. That's what we create primarily, so that's our primary interface. What I have here, I have our audio box USB, and that's just your basic 2-channel recording interface. It's super basic, something you can throw in your guitar gig bag, you can throw it in a backpack, take it with you wherever you go. It's $149.99, and it comes with Studio One 2, which is a full multi-track studio recording software. We're stepping it up a little bit here. I've got the 22 VSL as well as the 1818 VSL, which I've actually got out of its box sitting right here. This is my personal interface. This is what I use when I'm recording. Main difference between these two guys, two channel. This actually has built-in X-Max preamps. So your mic levels are going to be more consistent. They're going to be louder. You're just going to be able to hear a lot more presence from those microphones. My voice is going to go in and out. I just got over a cold, I'm sorry. So that's the main difference there. We're going to be using this as an example, so you'll get to see kind of how that works. The 1818 VSL has an actual optical, what they call light pipe output. So this does have one step up above this, other than just having 8 channels as opposed to 2. That light pipe out is essentially an optical out, so you can actually get perfect, clear, crystal clear quality optical audio, just like you could on home sound stereo system. So that's a pretty cool feature there. But whether that's worth it is up to you to decide. Really, this sounds just as good with the 2-channel. Most guitar players, most bass players, most people are going to be just using the 2-channel. I can see that, and that is right now our most popular interface. I use this because I do drums, I do trumpet, I do vocals. If you have a choir, maybe a church choir, and you got you're live recording on stage, you're gonna need more than 2 inputs. So you're gonna be going into the 8 inputs, or they even have a 4-input interface that's a little bit more. So we got $199 for the 22 VSL. The 44 VSL is the 4-channel. And that one there is going to be $299 for the extra 2 channels. Same deal though, you have to go with the 1818 VSL to get that optical light pipe output. But getting started here on actually installing this, we send a lot of these units out, and a lot of people come back and they're like, I can't get the thing installed. Why are we having so many issues installing this unit? Well, first of all, I'll open this up here. We have a quick start how-to install guide, but I'm going to go ahead and toss that because that's what most of us are going to do, right? I mean, we're just going to open it up and want to dig and plug it in. So we've got our interface here. All my stuff, this is my personal setup. It's already installed on my computer, but I'm going to show you how to do the basic setup. So starting with the actual interface here. Do you have a good image of that? We're gonna plug the interface before installing the actual recording software. So it's gonna come with a Studio One disc, which you'll see in here. That's the actual recording software in this package. Most people are gonna want to download that onto their computer first, but you want to refrain from that. You want to install the actual interface first. If you install the software is going to be looking for the interface the minute you install it. So it's going to get lost. You're going to install the interface after. It's not going to be able to connect, and that's where most people find that they're having a problem. So you install your interface first. How you do that, there's actually a disc in here. I'm actually going to pop this open here just for this. So we have our Studio One disc, and we actually have our Audio Box 1.2. This has all the drivers that your computer needs to recognize your interface. I actually don't recommend using this CD to install your drivers. I would recommend going to the PreSonus website. You're just going to go to the PreSonus website. That's just PreSonus.com, and you're going to go to, there's an actual section that says downloads. You're going to click on the download link. Right underneath that, it's going to say download drivers for interfaces. You just click on the drivers for interfaces. You're going to select the interface that you have. So if you have the 44 VSL, you have the 22 VSL, or you have the 1818 VSL, you're going to go just click on that, and it's going to give you the latest drivers. There's actually a driver 2.0 right now that has been released as of 2 days ago. This is drivers 1.2. So they've already made the updates on the website that are needed, and it'll automatically update once you've installed. But that just gives one more step and one more room for error. So I would definitely recommend downloading the drivers from the website. Just go to PreSonus.com, download those drivers from the website. then you're going to actually plug in the interface. So we're going to hook up the interface as it's hooked up to the computer right now. And I'm working off of a Mac right now, you can tell. If you have Windows-based computers, so if you have Windows 7, that's the best, or XP, or Windows 8, those are going to be the optimal running systems for any recording. So Studio One, PreSonus, any of their interfaces, or for any other interface that you're working with. XP, 7 or 8. You can use Vista, however, it's going to be a lot more finicky. So that's the steps I'm explaining right now, hooking up the interface first, downloading the drivers first. Vista is going to be a lot more sensitive to that. If you have Vista and you do it the reverse way, it's really hard. You've actually got to go through and clear everything from the system. So you've got to purge the software, you've got to purge the interface, you've got to purge the drivers, you've got to go into the system files and purge the DLLs just to get everything reinstalled. So Vista's a pain in the butt. I think there's a reason they changed that, we all know. But 7, XP, and 8 are the optimal running system for Windows. I've got it running on the Mac here. I'm going to go ahead and power this guy up. So that's running, and you can see on the screen here, it's going to pick it up. And there's actually a little light on the front here you can see. As soon as your computer has registered that it's connected with the interface, this is going to turn blue. So you want to make sure this is plugged in, download your drivers, so this is all connected. This will turn blue the minute that your drivers are downloaded and your computer downloaded them successfully. So this light will be red if it's got an error. That means that something went wrong along the lines. But if you plug this in first, download your drivers, you shouldn't have that problem. So this is blue, it's telling me it's connected. I'm going to go ahead and click on Studio One right now. So that's going to pull it up on the screen. I don't know if anybody can see the big screen here. Now, something important to look for while it's coming up here, you want to look for these little red icons here. There was a little skull icon. You saw that. Something failed to work. Now, in my case, luckily that was just the Voodoo SoundSense. It's just a completely set up for if you have a keyboard and it doesn't have any sounds, a MIDI controller. There are sounds that I don't need, so I didn't download them. But if you see a bunch of those little red skulls, usually that means something's wrong. And if you want to read while it's going up. If you get a red skull and it says interface issue or interface error, you're going to want to read that. That's going to mean that your interface actually isn't working properly. But it didn't give me that, so I'm going to go right in here. Now that we've installed, or I guess I missed that part. Right after getting this done, you're going to pop this disc in here. You're going to install your Studio One. So you're going to install this disc, and that's going to pull up the recording software. Open up the recording software, and here we have our Studio One suite. Now we're going to create a new song. So you go up to the left here, but you can see on the screen. There's a lot of options when you go to create a new song. This is another area where people run into a lot of problems because, honestly, it's, what am I doing? Instrument set, am I obviously recording instruments, empty song, of course you're starting off with an empty song. You haven't created anything yet. Band recording, okay, I have an empty song, I have instruments, and I'm recording a band. Why are they giving me separate options here? I would just say ignore all of that. And I would just go to multi-track recording right here on the main screen. What that's going to do is it's just going to automatically set it up for any generic recording that you're going to do. So if you're going to record 2 guitars, you're going to record 7 guitars, it doesn't matter. You've got all your tracks laid out on the left side. So on the very top here, I can rename this into whatever I want. If I want that to be my lead guitar, I'm just going to put lead guitar. My next one's going to be my lead vocals. My next one's going to be my backup vocals. And let's say that's it. Let's say I just have a band with like some guy that just likes to solo all the time and 2 people screaming for some reason. The rest of it's going to be drums. So I'll say, we'll just say drums, snare. You can say drums, and I can keep going, But that's really where it's at. And then you can actually go through each one and you can record each one individually. You can record it all simultaneously. If anybody's doing live setup, you can take this whole setup on stage with you, and you can actually record your entire band just simultaneously. And you're just gonna take these little red dots off if you want to do it. Just maybe I want to just record my lead guitar right now. I'm just gonna record it on that one line. I'm gonna leave my red dot on that individual screen. Something cool that is included in all the VSLs but is not included in the audio box. So it's not included in the $150 package. This is a great startup package, but for $50 more, you get the VSL, which stands for Virtual Studio Live Mixer. So you can actually you can actually control everything right from, with the VSL. It doesn't matter if you get the 2-channel, you get the 8-channel. You can actually record, you can actually control everything on stage, or everything that's going on. If you're doing a live recording, so if you're on stage, you have a whole band, you can actually control all of the levels right from your computer. You don't even need a mixer. You can use your interface. So you can use this live or home in the studio. My particular setup, I actually have a keyboard stand with my keyboard. I have this interface up on a second tier, and then I have my computer up on the right tier. I have it all in one bag, and I just carry it with me wherever I go. If I'm at a gig, I just set it down and record everything, get it going. And then I can pack it up. It weighs about 15, 20 pounds. So it's real easy. You can take it anywhere, record at home. But these are all my individual channels. So channel 1 here, I've got my fader slider. I can control the volume there. You can also EQ things. You can also go back through, and you can EQ each person just right from these little bands. So let's say you need a little more compression. You can double click on this, and you can actually there's built-in, the X-Max preamps allow you to go through, and you can actually add compression or use a compressor on each channel. There's also built-in effects you can use. So if you have a guitar, you can actually add distortion right from the software here, just on the mixer. You can control everything right there. And cool feature from here, you're saying, well, okay, I'm stuck at my laptop. Well, no, you're not. You can actually, if you have an iPad, you can download the mixer, the VSL mixer, onto your iPad from the App Store. If you guys buy, or if you guys own the 8-channel interface here, it's only on this one. If you try to plug your headphones in, this is another issue that a lot of people have. So you can see my headphone adapters in there. But this is your headphone output. It's got the headphone logo right on there. Real easy to see. So let's say you've recorded a project, or you're recording and you want to hear what's going on in that software. Chances are, you get that? Chances are you're going to plug in, you're going to start recording, and you're not going to hear anything. I've had almost every single one of these come back to our store because people think that their headphone output is broken. Well, PreSonus, for whatever reason, they assigned the headphone output channel to, let's see if I can get this thing out of the way here. That's interesting. So they've actually assigned the headphone channels. This is not letting me. See if I can shrink this a little bit so I can show you what I'm doing. Well, I'm going to open this up again. I have no idea why it's not letting me. Here we go. Okay, perfect. So you'll see I've already got it set up, but on my channel 7 and 8. So on your 7 and 8, actually it's on the back here on your line outputs. There's nothing there, but PreSonus has also dual connected those outputs to your headphone output. So what you need to do is you need to actually go to channel 7 and 8. It's going to say DAW 1 and DAW 2 at the very bottom here. Again, I don't know why this isn't letting me go to the bottom. It's an interesting glitch. Try restarting this real quick. Oh, you know what it is? I'm sorry. It's because it's actually hooked up to the second display, so the functionality to actually get to the bottom is turned off. My computer's automatically compensating for the size of the screen here. It won't let me get to the bottom of the screen. I'm sorry, I didn't realize that, but it's doing a dual display thing. So with that off, it's actually going to let me get to the bottom of the screen. So I'm going to go over here. This is going to say DAW 1 and DAW 2 on these two channels. That's going to actually be where your headphone volume is at. I've already got this panned out and set up. If it's not set up, you're gonna want to go over to DAW 1 and DAW 2. You're going to notice that there's no colors when you first get it. So it's just going to be blank. And you're going to want to unmute those. So go to DAW 1, DAW 2, unmute those on your VSL mixer. And you're going to see 7. You want to turn the volume all the way up on 7. You're going to take 8 on DAW 2. You're going to turn it green on the right side. And we're going to take 8 on the left side on DAW 1, and and we're going to make it yellow, all yellow. Now our volume's all the way up there. 7 all the way up. These be all grayed out, otherwise you don't want to see any. You don't want to see any light gray, all dark gray on 7, on dot 1 and dot 2. And so you're going to see yellow on the left, green on the right. You want them split left and right. If you put them both on the right, you're going to hear everything on your right earphone, not split. So what we're doing is we're splitting the channel so it's on both. If you go back, you plug your headphones in at this point, now you should hear sound on left and right. Now PreSonus also has a YouTube video on how to do that specifically. It's about a 15-minute video, so they just talk a lot about, like I'm doing right now, about all kinds of things. But halfway through the video, they just show you exactly how to do that with the entire setup. I wish this thing didn't do that so I could show you the bottom, but it will say again DAW1 and DAW2, DAW1 and DAW2. And you want to change those to channels 7 and 8. So 7 all the way up, 8 left, 8 right. And that's going to set that up. So those are the main troubleshooting issues that most people have with their interfaces. Kind of gives you a brief overview of just the different options. 2 inputs. You have two options for the 2 input. 1 4-input interface is $299. We're completely out of stock, so I can't show you. And then we have the 1818 VSL, which actually has 8 inputs. So